KSTC is Korean Secure Trust and Custody, and it's a new custody firm that's focused on the Korean market to bring institutional custody, regulated, licensed, to support the emergence of the new institutional growing interest in digital assets. That includes financial investors, exchanges, and token projects. And this is a very high quality team and technology that's building the new form of custody starting here in Korea. So custody has been evolving over the years. When I first was the founder CEO of Bitgo in 2013, the industry was moving from self-custody using software, single private keys, some hardware, to a new world of institutional grade custody. At Bitgo, we pioneered multi-signature technologies, and we started opening up the doors for larger institutions and larger funds to invest in Bitcoin and digital assets. And over the last few years, as we've had growth in tokens and the growth in the market cap, the financial institutions, financial services have become interested in participating in digital currency. They require much more than what the current custody solutions offer. Some companies in the US, like Coinbase and Anchorage, are doing well for getting licenses and having the processes and the appropriate technologies to securely store digital assets. And KSTC will be bringing some of those best practices and new technologies and processes that are necessary in the Korean market as this opens up. We have seen an evolution from self-custody to institutional grade custody using multi-sig and developing better treasury controls and protections and processes. And now we're seeing large institutions interested in digital assets, and they require additional things. They require licensed, regulated custodians, insurance, the analytics and reporting that are at an institutional grade, the appropriate processes and technologies to make sure that there can't be thefts or hacks. And in addition, the custodians are starting to play a role in some of the more modern uses of digital assets like staking, lending, and other areas. And so the state of the global custody market has been moving towards this regulated custody. And I think we're going to see an evolution from the vertically integrated custody, where exchanges are holding their own coins, to the separation of exchange and custodian in many regions where the regulators decide that's what the best approach is. We've seen a number of hacks this year in exchanges, and that's going to make the regulators concerned for self-custody by those parties. So there will always be the ability in digital assets for a user to hold their own coins. That's the beauty of digital currency. But as we get to large amounts of currency being held, custodians are going to play a major role. Bitcoin started in 2009, okay? And nobody in the institutional finance world cared at all. They didn't even know about it. Around 2012, 2013, the only thing that people knew about digital currency was Silk Road, and really from the institutional finance sector. And they really just laughed it off and thought it wasn't worth anything. In 2014 and 15, there was a fight against digital currency. There was new regulation and fear. The BIT license was introduced in New York as a safeguard. There were U.S. Congress people trying to make the use of cryptocurrency illegal. There was controls in China. There were issues in Korea. And over the last few years with the ICOs, we've seen a lot of scam activity, but also some really meaningful projects. And at the end of all of that, we now are sitting at a point where we have very valuable currency in Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have a number of other large-scale projects, and projects that are coming out like Telegram and Facebook's Libra that are going to change the world and actually enable this digital currency evolution to continue. And so at this point, institutional investors realize this is here to stay, and they want to get in and they want to invest. But in order to invest, they need to tell their fund administrators and tell their LPs and tell their organizations and tell their customers that we have your coins, but they're safe. They're safe from hacking, they're safe from theft, they're safe from loss. So institutional investors coming into digital currency is making it is the next groundswell, the next wave of support for all these currencies to be adopted. I've been helping companies in Korea for almost 2 years, ever since I came to the Olympics at Pyeongchang, and I met some of the companies here and saw that there was an opportunity to connect these companies with the rest of the world and to be a catalyst to help Korea grow its economy and create jobs by being a leader in blockchain innovation. I found so far 8 projects in Korea that have great teams and are good use cases of blockchain. And I can help them meet and connect with partners in Silicon Valley and in Europe and help give them the strategic guidance about what's happening in the rest of the world so they can integrate that into their plans in Korea. I find that Korea has a very highly educated, highly motivated, hardworking workforce, and the 30 million people in Seoul, those that are working in blockchain, are sharing information and trying to find the best practices and grow their businesses. And if I can help that move forward, that means we can help the Korean economy. I think Korea could be the leader in blockchain innovation. And one of the logical next steps is to have a regulated, strong custody solution. In KSTC, the founders of KSTC invited me because of my experience as the founder CEO of Bitgo, my experience as an investor in blockchain capital, which is invested in companies like Anchorage and other custody companies. Through that experience, I understand the custody market as well as anyone, and I can provide the strategic insight and the support to the founding team as chairman. So I'm very excited to help the Korean economy and help the Korean blockchain help the Korean blockchain ecosystem. Yeah. So there are 2 answers to this question. The first is that we believe there is a reasonable expectation that there should be a separation between the custodian and the exchange, or the custodian and the operator of that digital currency project. And that will provide safeguards from any kind of internal theft or any kind of internal misuse or mistakes, because the custodian has the strengths and capabilities around safeguarding the tokens, and the business operator can operate their business but access the tokens and the currency under certain rules. We think that's a reasonable expectation for some part of the market. The second is that while there are always many players, always many companies participating in a competitive ecosystem, we're all here to build this ecosystem of blockchain. And we have one of the strongest teams, founding teams, who comes from years of experience working in Korean blockchain ecosystem. The founders of the Blockchain Accelerator that have brought many projects through that accelerator program. The founder of KeyPair has built encryption and cryptography technology, operators of exchanges, operators of other businesses, and myself as chairman, who is the founder CEO of Bitgo and worked in other custody areas. So we have an incredibly strong team, and as we build out this business with the relationships that we have existing with all those players, we think that we can provide to them the services and solutions, and we can help any new regulation, we can help that be followed appropriately to safeguard the market while continuing to allow for innovation to grow. The blockchain industry has seen year after year new companies that arrive and establish the standards and the best practices for that part of the ecosystem. Coinbase wasn't in existence in 2011 or 2012, and now it's a $10 billion company that is more customers than Charles Schwab. So we see a lot of growth in these emerging areas like blockchain. We think KSTC has an opportunity to be the premier brand and the premier custody provider in the blockchain ecosystem. As larger financial institutions want to participate in that and be a custodian themselves, KSTC can be a partner and a provider of services and solutions to those financial service companies. And I think that is a common pattern, that the startups will pave the way and pioneer, and then the larger incumbents will come in and look to partner or joint venture or acquire some of the startups. But we plan to capitalize KSTC well with funding, to have a network of partnerships, and we already have a lot of those relationships established, and to have the best tech and the best solutions ready to go out of the gate so that we can establish the premier custody for the Korean market.